Oh, hi. You know, I've been trying to teach myself French for the last few weeks, and there's only so much Amélie that you can watch in one lifetime. So, I need a little bit of help. I've got Azren here for me, and you consider yourself a polyglot.
Yes,
right?
I do.
What is that, maybe for the audience who might not know?
So polyglot is basically someone who speaks a bunch of languages.
You deal a lot with that on your own personal YouTube channel, and so I thought you would be the best person to bring into here
Oh, well, thank you.
to help me out on my journey.
Yeah.
I was kind of telling you before we started filming how I am doing pretty good at reading French, but speaking French is not working out 100% here for me. So I've cobbled together some objects, and I'm hoping we can try to have a bit of a conversation
let's do it.
around them.
I'm excited.
All right, cool. I'm going to start with this, a very important book. Now, livre is how I say it in French.
Yeah, livre.
Livre.
Yeah, the good R, nice French R in the back.
I know, it's like, that's
Yeah.
I could be very Anglican right now and be
Nice.
like, livre. La livre or
Le livre.
la livre?
Le livre, masculine.
It's masculine.
Yeah.
Do you have any recommendations on how to figure that out, whether something is masculine versus feminine?
It's kind of weird because I find that so the thing about French is that it's one of those things you just have to memorize, generally speaking.
Right.
Um,
It's kind of like the I before E rule that's inside
Yeah,
of English.
it's-
It's like that's true until it's not true.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like one of those things you have to know. But the weird thing is that here's the weirdest thing about French. This is just my perspective. I find that, I find that a lot of teachers, they put a huge emphasis on this le, la, un, une, like, is it masculine, is it feminine? But the funny thing is that it's actually probably one of the least important things. Because if
Okay.
I say la livre, if I say la livre to a French person,
Right.
there is zero air of like them. They might register me a mistake, but it's a small one. It's not something that affects comprehension. By the way, it's a good book.
Okay.
I just realized what book it was.
This video is sponsored by the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Please tell me it actually was.
What's that?
Please tell me it actually was sponsored by them.
No, it's not.
That'd be amazing.
Je lis un livre.
Je lis.
Lis.
Ouais, je lis. Je
Okay.
lis un livre.
Lis un livre.
Yeah.
So, is there a word that is lis in?
Lis?
Yeah.
Yeah, lis. Lisse. Lis
Yeah.
means like very smooth.
Oh, smooth. Okay, maybe that's
Yeah.
what I'm getting confused.
So
with.
French, if you have any, generally speaking, final consonants don't get pronounced.
Je lis le livre.
Je lis le livre. Yeah, that can work. I read the book.
I read the book.
Yeah, je
Okay.
lis le livre.
I don't think I know what page is in
Very similar English. Page.
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 Okay.
Do you know your numbers? I don't know if you know your numbers.
I know I know some of my numbers. I don't know if I can do. Oh gosh, can I remember what 100 is?
Cent.
It is. Ah, man. Okay, 100, and then it wouldn't be. Is it 300? Is 300?
300, yeah,
Okay.
300.
So 300, and then I can't remember 50 because 50 is a different name again, is it not?
Yeah. Cinq.
Is it the 110? It's not.
Cinquante.
50. 300.
Cinquante.
50.
Huit.
Wheat.
Ah.
Okay. that's how many that's how many pages are in
Yep.
this livre.
Yeah. How many pages in this livre? Exactly.
That's right. Now we're gonna go to like probably currently my favorite word that I've learned in French so
Actually?
far.
Okay.
I just think okay, I don't want to bury the lead too much. So this right here we have is an umbrella,
Yep.
which is la parapluie.
Parapluie. Yeah.
La parapluie. This is gonna show my ignorance because I'm using this app called Duolingo. Again, not a sponsor, but would totally be open to sponsorship. It says right now that I'm 41% through the course of Duolingo, and we talked about this already. They give you these really weird sentences
They do.
sometimes to read out.
Was
which
it
have-
you that I saw on Facebook? I don't know. I think I have it on Facebook. Was it you that posted a picture recently on Facebook of a Duolingo sentence?
Oh,
Was
could
that
have
you?
been.
Like the cat rolls pineapples or something like
Yeah,
that. There's
like,
something weird.
There's another good one that I came across the other, but something like that. It's like no one's ever gonna say
No.
that sentence ever. Ouvrir parapluie.
What? What?
My next course I know is about weather, so I was like,
Oh, interesting.
Interesting. Although that's probably where I'm
See,
gonna
you
learn
could
like
say
snow
something
and rain
like,
and stuff
I
like
have
that.
an umbrella. I have an umbrella.
I have is so j'ai parapluie.
Un parapluie.
Un parapluie.
I have an umbrella.
Oui.
Ouais.
Ferme le parapluie.
Ouais. Ferme le parapluie. Ouais, ouais. To close the umbrella.
Close the umbrella. I was gonna hit you, but I won't.
frapper.
I get a little bit confused with not only just the masculine and feminine of the words, but also the, like, in English we have give, gave, and given, for instance.
Okay.
Those are three
Yep.
tenses of the
Yep.
same word
Yep.
that we're doing.
Mhm.
Where in French it looks like you still say the word the same way in the sentence, but they're spelled differently, and it throws me off every single time.
Yeah,
So the biggest one
that's
I
true.
have
Often,
is
yep.
like mange, like I'm eating, right? So like it's spelled like sometimes with an S, without an S,
Yep.
and then like it's spelled like Geont at the
Yep.
end of it sometimes.
Yep.
It's like, so I kind of instinctively know like I'm eating
Yeah,
or
yeah,
to
yeah.
eat or
Yep.
have ate or something like that. But it's like I always get confused about what I'm trying to do in the sentence.
It is a confusing part of French. And I find that for people who are learning more for conversational purposes, it actually makes it easier. Because
Right.
especially as a beginner, because what happens, I don't know if you've noticed, but as a beginner, there's really only two, I guess, pronouns you use, I and you.
Right. Yeah.
Because you're pretty it sounds weird, you're pretty selfish when you're a beginner because you're always on the receiving end of questions if
Yeah.
you're ever talking to people because you
Right.
don't have the knowledge to drive conversations. So what happens is that you're always using je.
Yeah.
Maybe some tu because you'll ask about the other
But
person,
them,
the you, right?
And then new is
But even
us,
now you
right?
won't use that much. As,
Yeah.
as a beginner, you don't use
Yeah.
that. And so what's nice that the je and the tu in French usually sound the same. They're written
Right,
differently,
right,
but they
right.
almost always, at least in most tenses, most of the time, as a general, they sound the same. So I find that for beginners, often it's actually kind of useful for them in the beginning because you're like, oh, at least I know how to say it.
Le chapeau,
Le chapeau.
le chapeau gris,
Gris.
gris.
Mhm.
Yeah, don't say the last. So
Gris.
gris.
Yeah. Or noir, no? I can go either way.
A little way, yeah. Noir.
So je porte un chapeau. Is it je porte un chapeau? Is it je porte un chapeau? That sounds 99%. I'm pretty freaking sure that's right. So actually, here's a fun fact. Depending on the day you catch me, my knowledge. So my French is like my English, like
Okay,
in terms
yeah.
of level.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's obviously lower because it's my first language, but
Yeah, yeah.
generally speaking, it is. But the problem is, it depends on what day you catch me, because there are days. So I had a day just the other day where I was, I just wore it. I was right.
Yeah.
And there's days where I'll, like my Chinese brain is better.
Oh,
There's days
got
where my
it, yeah,
Spanish brain is better. There's days where, like if I switch between a Spanish lesson, then I teach French next.
Yeah.
My brain will still be in Spanish mode, and it's kind of like, oh, how do you say cow? It's like, I know cow, but
Vache is cow in
Vache,
French.
yeah,
Vache.
vache.
Je porte chapeau gris.
un chapeau,
Yeah.
a hat.
Oh yes, un chapeau gris.
Uh-huh.
Am I beyond hope?
No one's beyond hope. No. That's what's actually good about language is that. So it's actually funny. Languages, in my perspective, from my experience and perspective, is it's kind of like in certain ways like math or something else like that, where some people do find it easier than others. Like their
Right.
brain, maybe their DNA or whatever it is, they just it comes more natural. Some people less natural. I feel like there's some skills that if you're not good at it naturally,
Right.
there's a harder learning curve. If you're
Right.
not good at languages naturally, there's still a harder learning curve, but it's one that's possible to do. Because if I were to throw you into China
Yeah.
and you had to learn because you need to eat, need to do stuff,
You'll get it.
you're not going to be fluent. That's where we get an interesting territory. I don't think
Yeah.
everyone can be like super fluent 100%.
But you should be able to speak it and
But I
be
think
comfortable.
I think everybody has the capability, most people have the capability of going and becoming functional to the level that they need in that language. Need is a crucial part.
Right.
It's the level that they need to get to be able to function in their life. That is something everyone can get to. Yes.
What is like your biggest piece of advice you can give to me as I continue learning French?
I would say, I would probably say the biggest thing is make sure you're consistent with it. I think even probably equally, if not more important, is that whatever you choose to do, it has to be something that you enjoy.
I think it was Tim Ferriss. I was listening to his podcast
Okay.
or watching a video of his,
Yeah.
and he's also someone who's learned like multiple different languages.
Is he really?
throughout
I
his
didn't know
life.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like he's like fluent in Japanese and a bunch of
Oh,
other ones.
Interesting.
Regardless, he was saying that how he started to actually learn some of his languages was comic books. He would get like the Spanish version of the Spider-Man comic he was reading,
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
go back and forth. and be like,
Really?
it's something I'm interested in anyways, so
Yep.
I might as well like learn it in a different language at the same time.
Interesting.
So I don't know.
Huh, that's cool.
Maybe I'll start going and buying French comic books. I'll go buy some Tintin and read
Do it.
that.
Do
That'll
it.
be the easiest way. If people want to follow you on the internet, how can they do that?
Any social network at polyglot Azren. Sorry, YouTube is Azren Language Nerd.
Got it.
Everywhere else at polyglot Azren. Snapchat, Instagram,
Hey,
Musically, you name it, I'm there.
I feel your pain. I am the Kyle Marshall everywhere except for YouTube. So branding is not my strong suit, apparently.
Nice. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Thank you for coming
Yeah,
out.
no worries.